to my channel and welcome to today's video, which is going to be all about this little device here which I have on my arm. This is the Libre Freestyle sensor. If you are new to my channel and you are not aware, I have type 1 diabetes and I am on a 6-month trial for this Freestyle Libre sensor, and today is kind of like a 3-month, so a halfway point review. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is, but if you guys want to know more information, then I will leave some links down below for you to go and read for yourself. And I'm also going to show you how I take it off and how I put it on. If you do enjoy this video, then please do leave it a thumbs up down below. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. And also, I hope you guys liked my new intro. Please let me know what you think of it. But without further ado, let's get straight on into this video. So the Libre sensor is a little sensor, obviously, which goes onto the back of the arm, so it can go on either arm, left or right. I tend to alternate every time that I change it. I change it every 2 weeks, so every 14 days I change my sensor to a new one. And this basically just replaces finger prick testing. So anyone who has diabetes has to test their finger with a little bit of blood spot to check what their blood sugars are. I've only recently been given this 3 months ago because I fell into the criteria of getting one under the NHS. How it works is 2 ways. So you can either use the sensor, which gets given to you when you get given your kit. So this is the sensor reading, sorry. So you can either use that. What I've been doing, because obviously I always have my phone with me, my smartphone, you can actually get the app. So the app is just called Freestyle Libre Link. This is what it looks like, and you know, you have your logbook, so you can look back on what your blood sugars have been over the course of the last couple of days / months. It gives you daily patterns, so it shows you like a graph of what your blood sugars have been. And obviously to test it, you just have to have a phone that has NFC, so that you can just tap it. Now sometimes it doesn't like to work with my phone, there we go, because I've got a pop socket, so sometimes it's all about the positioning. And then it gives you your reading. Now mine are a little bit high at the minute, mine are 16.3. You can put your target ranges in there, obviously, set them to whatever you like or prefer. Then it gives you like a traffic light system, so obviously green is good, amber is not so good, and red is either very high or very low, depending on what your targets are. And then it also gives you a little arrow. So this arrow can either point the way it's pointing at the minute, which means that it is stable, or it can point up to indicate that your blood sugars are going up, or point down to indicate that they're going down. It can also point like a vigorous down or like a vigorous up, which means that they are increasing or descending rapidly. So it's really good. There is a 4-minute delay between the sensor reading and a finger prick test, and that's just because obviously testing your blood sugars with a finger prick is a lot more accurate than testing through a sensor, because this is just testing the interstitial muscles that you've got there. So I've done a comparison before, and it's given me, you know, like 0.4 of a difference, 0.4 millimoles per litre of a difference, which is the metrics that are used to measure blood sugars. On here it tells you when your sensor is going to end. So mine ends, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but mine ends in 33 minutes. If you change it, it updates, so it will go from 14 days 13, 12, etc., all the way to like the last minute, which is really, really good. You guys will see when I do change it. Once you apply a new Freestyle Libre sensor, you scan it so that it knows, so that the phone knows, or the app knows, sorry, that you've got a new sensor, and then you have to kind of let it cook. Let's say you have to wait a minimum of 1 hour, so 60 minutes, to then be able to test your blood sugars. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just how it is. Some cons that I found personally with having it, obviously I was very nervous to get it in the first place because I didn't want anything that was going to show people or, you know, identify me as someone who had type 1 diabetes. But I also think a lot of people don't know what this is. You know, me walking down the street with this on, I don't think a lot of people are educated about what it is. So if you're watching this and you didn't know what a Libre sensor was, and you've seen someone with one of these, or you're seeing it now for the first time, if you do see someone with it again, then you'll know what it is. So, you know, don't make anyone feel uncomfortable about it. So much quicker than having to stop in the street and do a finger prick test. So much more convenient. You can scan this through clothing as well, so nobody has to know that you're testing your blood sugars, which is great. The only time I have to do a finger prick tests still is in situations where, say, if my blood sugars are too low or if they are too high, I just do a finger prick test just to make sure that the reading is accurate, or that my blood sugars are around that range. But I mean, I can use the sensor to test before I drive, for example, which is something that you weren't allowed to do previously. You had to do a finger prick test. And there's just little changes. So even for someone like me who is a children's nurse and works 12-hour shifts, it's so much more convenient to have my phone in my pocket and be able to know where my blood sugars are heading, and not have to move away from my job into the staff room to go and do a finger prick test. So amazing, because I have a real big fear of hypos. So hypoglycemia, which is where your blood sugars drop too low and you have to treat them. I get really nervous in certain places and certain situations of going low. So having this indicates where my blood sugars are heading, if they're stable, if they're high, if they're low, etc., is a big difference. It really is. Another thing that the Freestyle Libre app tells you is your estimated HbA1c, and a HbA1c is basically an average of how your blood sugars have been for 3 months time. Your range for HbA1c for someone who doesn't have diabetes is between 4% to 5.6%. Now, percentage is an old reading, now it's done in millimoles per litre, but for this video I'll just say it in percentage. The app actually tells you an estimated average of what your HbA1c is. So every couple of months I have to have a blood test which tells me what my HbA1c levels are. Now, a couple of days ago I was really happy because this number was a lot lower than this. It says 8.7%, 72 millimoles. It was saying 69 millimoles, but I've been quite unwell for a few days now, and my blood sugars have been consistently high, which is something that happens when you're unwell, because your body releases more glucose instead of releasing insulin to keep your blood sugars down, because our bodies don't produce insulin. So it has been a bit tough, but I honestly think that now I've had this Libre sensor, I don't think I could be without it. I mean, the technology of it and just the convenience of it is just so amazing. Another positive thing about it is you can shower with it, so it's fully waterproof. It doesn't deactivate or anything like that if you shower or bath with it. The only time where it apparently can deactivate is if you are going through security in the airport and they make you go through the like body scanners where they check if you've got anything on you. That can deactivate your sensor, but you get given a letter from the hospital just to tell the airport staff that, you know, you have got the sensor and it could deactivate if you go through those. Never had a sensor come off when I've been taking off clothes or putting it back on. It does catch sometimes, but it's never come off. And another question that I get asked a lot is it painful? And sometimes it is. There has been times where you know, areas where I've placed it has been quite painful, and you know, if I'm laying on it, it can be quite painful, but other times I honestly can't feel it at all and I forget that it's there. In terms of cons, I don't really know. I mean, the only thing I would say is probably when you get people, you know, when you feel like you get people looking at it and not knowing what it is. I am afraid of what people might say, you know, or think about it, but at the end of the day, it's helping me in my medical condition and it's helping me to be able to regulate my blood sugars a lot more, and that's a real big positive. Get your sensor in a box like this. So you get the sensor is in here, which I'll show you guys in a little bit, and then in here is the introducer, and then you also get 2 pre-injection swabs. Now, I don't know if any of you guys watching have type 1 diabetes yourself, and if you have a sensor like me, but I haven't quite got used to taking the sensor off myself, so I still need like a little bit of assistance. So I either ask my sister to help me or my boyfriend to help me to take it off. Putting it on is a lot easier than taking it off, I think. I just need to go and call for some assistance to help me take it off. I've got my boyfriend here who's gonna take it off for me because he's good at it actually, and he's here, so it's convenient. So I don't know whether to zoom you guys in a little bit. Or if what I do is I just like hold on to my skin and then Alan just like peels it away.
Once we get a corner up.
Yeah, it can be a bit fiddly, but
just to make sure it comes up with the sticky pad, because there you go.
That's the sensor out, and when you take it out there can be like a little bit of residue of blood, but that's just normal, so don't worry about that. And then I just take one of the pre-injection swabs and just clean this area as much as I can. Obviously the sticky bits you have to really scrub at it, and it sometimes just needs a good...
You kind of need to just use your nail on.
Yeah.
And not be so gentle with it.
And recently it's been quite sunny, so I've got like a white patch on where my sensors have been because I'm pretty tanned.
Bye guys.
This is the sensor, what the sensor looks like when it comes out. So that's literally the sensor that's in my skin, and that just gets thrown in a sharps box. Now is the easy bit for me to do on my own, which is putting it on. It says you've got the 2 bits here, so you just peel this open, and that has the introducer, which is going to connect to the sensor, which is in here. So you just open that one up, and what you do is there's a line at the bottom here, and then there's a line here, and you align them together, line them up, and then you squeeze down, and that then pops the introducer into the sensor. So the sensor is in here. And what I do is I need to pick somewhere on my other arm where I want to put the sensor. So I get the second pre-injection swab, and I kind of just give the area a nice good clean. Just gonna let that air out for a couple of minutes or seconds. The reason why you want to let it air out a little bit is obviously because you want the sticky bit around the sensor to stick to your arm. And this is a mistake I made with my last sensor actually, because I didn't let it air dry for long enough, and when I went to put it in, it didn't stick all the way round to my skin. It only stuck once my skin was fully dry. So yeah, just obviously have to make sure that it's completely dry before I go ahead and put the sensor in. So I think that is now dry enough. So what I'm going to do is I normally hold the back of my head and I kind of see more or less where I want it to go. So I'm going to say, because obviously you have to be able to reach it to scan it yourself, so I'm going to say about there. Seems quite good to me. So all I have to do is press down, and this bit does sound and seem quite vicious, but it's actually not too bad. So I literally just press down on this, and then I just wait a couple of seconds just to let it fully stick to my skin before then slowly releasing this, and it should stick to my skin. And there we go. That is the sensor now in my arm. This bit gets thrown away in a sharps box and the other bits can just go in a general bin. All I have to do is obviously get my app up on my phone, scan my new sensor. Okay, let's try that again. It didn't work. Like I said, it's very temperamental. So it says, it comes up with a notification saying new sensor found. Starting a new sensor will end the sensor you are currently using. Would you like to start the new one now? Yes. And then it asks you to scan the sensor one more time. And then it says sensor started, sensor ready to use in 60 minutes. As I said to you guys, it kind of likes to cook itself for 60 minutes and then you are free to use it to test what your blood sugars are at. That's everything for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if I explained things well enough. I don't know if I went through things properly, but if there's anything that I missed out that you guys want to know, just ask me down below in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. But like I said, I will also leave some links down below to the sensor in case you guys want to know a little bit more about what it is, you know, in case I didn't make any sense whatsoever. But I just wanted to share this video with you guys because I get a lot of people asking me questions about my sensor, which is a good thing, of course. A lot of people asking me how to take it off and put it on, etc. So I thought it'd just be easier to show you in a video. I will see you really soon with another video. Stay safe, take care, bye.